Hello classmates and welcome to week 7. I'm happy to say we're a little over halfway. There's been some great discussions thus far, and I'm sure this week will bring much of the same fruitful discussions. I thought I would change it up a bit for how to get our initial discussions going, hence the reason for my short YouTube clip. My discussion for this week focused on Nettleton's Chapter 7, Social Structures and Health, which provided an analysis on social inequalities and health status. In this chapter, Nettleton set the stage by stating how social inequalities in health have been recognized for a long time. So even though the health of a population can as a whole increase, there tends to be a certain class or groups of individuals or populations where the opposite can occur. The group or class of individuals that tend to either be ill more often or more likely to have disease are those that have lower levels of income or health. As such, the health inequality debate begins. From a technical aspect and trying to determine how to appropriately measure health and social circumstances to the theory behind for how this link can be fully explained. Nettleton provided 6 key explanations for why the link between social class and health may exist. Artifacts explanations. This explanation sees both classes and health as artifacts of the measurement process, and so it follows that any observed relationship must also be an artifact. Number 2, the health selection explanation argues that health status can influence health position by suggesting those who are healthy are more likely to be upwardly mobile and those who are unhealthy are more likely to drift into lower social classes. The example Nettleton made reference to was when males who had a serious illness in their childhood are more likely to end up in a lower social class. The cultural behavioral explanation provides a contrast to the health selection explanation, since the cultural approach presumes that health is the dependent variable and assumes that social class differences causes variation in health status, rather than vice versa. From this perspective, the main cause of social inequalities of health is due to behaviors. The 4th explanation is the materialist explanation. This is where a social causation approach emphasizes the effects of social structure on health by focusing on the impact of factors such as poverty, the distribution of income, unemployment, housing conditions, pollution, and working conditions in both the public and domestic spheres. The last 2 explanations are considered empirical observations. The psychosocial explanation suggests that the social patterning of health cannot be fully explained by absolute material poverty. The central argument is that it is not the simple case that the more wealthy a country is, the more healthy it is likely to be. And lastly, the life course explanations are circumstances or events and experience that influence a person's health before they are born and throughout their whole lives, and seen as crucial to the understanding of health inequalities. Nettleton also provided some explanations for how and why gender and health could also be linked. Specifically, the factors included the following: biological, which focuses on the genetic and physiological differences; psychosocial, which highlights personality differences to be one of the marginal significances; differential risk behaviors are likely contribute to differences; occupational and work-related factors; social roles and relationships is an important link that needs to be understood in the wider social context; power and resources which within the home, which explains the health status of men and women, which demonstrate how the inter-household distributions of or power of money and labor have been disadvantaged through women throughout the world; and lastly, social and structural differences within a society is important, since these differences among women themselves show the material circumstances playing an important part in determining the health status of women. For this week's discussion, I would like you to start the discussion by having you provide your initial thoughts on these 2 areas. Number 1, using one of Nettleton's identified explanations, provide a current example of the possible linkage between health and social class. And secondly, in addition to the gender and class focus, Nettleton also discussed explanations on potential links between ethnicity and health, as well as place and health. Using one of these variables, explain how you think they might be related. Thanks and have a great week.